This is a film about shooting. It was originally made some years ago, but it's been updated and expanded in some areas. It shows the many forms that shooting takes and the wide diversity of people that participate. Shooting tends to be a hidden sport. People see firearms misuse in the media, but they don't see what the sport of shooting's really like. In fact, it's one of the safest of all sports in Britain. It's fun and it's extremely challenging. Here's the film. Judge for yourself.
Shooting is one of this country's most popular and safest sports. Nearly 750,000 people hold firearm and shotgun certificates, and many more shoot under the supervision of authorised persons and with air guns. That's well over 1 million in total. Shooting brings together people of widely different backgrounds. It's a social sport in which men and women, young and old, able-bodied and the disabled all take part on equal terms. It's a sport at which this country has a proud tradition. We excel in Olympic and other international competition. It's also a sport which helps drive the economy. Expenditure by participants amounts to more than £2 billion each year. Shooting supports the equivalent of 70,000 jobs, including some supreme British craftsmen who keep alive ancient artisan skills that would otherwise be lost. And there are many publications and periodicals devoted to the subject of shooting. The sport takes many different forms: clay shooting, game shooting, stalking and deer management, target rifle shooting, muzzle loading with black powder guns, and not least, shooting with air guns. In addition to the sporting uses of firearms, the main subject of this film, firearms are routinely used by a wide variety of professionals: vets, farmers, gamekeepers, forest rangers, and pest controllers, for example. And we might also mention collectors and firearms historians, who've added to the corpus of knowledge and our national heritage whilst assembling and researching their collections. Shooting is a tightly regulated sport. There's been a requirement for a firearm certificate for rifles since 1920. Shotguns have been certificated by the police since 1967. Shooters take safety very seriously. Because they do, shooting's one of the safest sports in Britain. Even competitive athletics is more dangerous. Different shooting disciplines use different types of gun and have very different traditions. All share dedicated participants who regard shooting as an important and uniquely satisfying part of their life. Clay shooting has been popular in this country for more than 100 years. It takes 3 basic forms: trap shooting, where all targets are going away, skeet, where most targets are crossing, and sporting, where targets are thrown to simulate field conditions. The target itself is a pitched disc about 4¼ inches wide, and the gun used is always some kind of shotgun. That is a smoothbore which fires a cartridge loaded with shot, usually about 300 small pellets, rather than a single bullet as fired through the spirally grooved barrel of a rifle. Game shooting, the sport of shooting birds flying, or on the wing as it used to be called, was first brought to this country by the courtiers of Charles II. It involves shotguns, and the quarry, typically pheasants, partridge or grouse, may be driven to the guns by a team of beaters or walked up less formally. Some shooters devote themselves entirely to pigeon shooting, which is an important form of crop protection. Others devote themselves to wildfowling, conserving and harvesting ducks and geese on the foreshore or on flight ponds situated inland. Many of our foreshores are wardened by wildfowlers. All forms of game shooting involve conservation work. Indeed, shooting itself is a very small part of the whole, typically the final harvest at what may have been a year of very hard work. Game shooting in Britain helps to preserve the countryside. Without it, the country would be a much poorer place, with fewer woods, hedgerows and songbirds. People come from all over the world to shoot in this country, bringing with them significant revenue and employment to otherwise depressed areas. Stalking may take place on the hill in Scotland or in woods, so-called woodland or lowland stalking. The line which divides stalking from deer management's very fine. If deer were not controlled, though, they died from disease and starvation. They have no natural predators in this country. Changes in agricultural practice and creeping urbanisation have denied them much of their traditional habitat. Target rifle shooting is a long-established sport. It has its origins in the Victorian volunteer movement, out of which the Territorial Army grew. Target rifle shooting today may involve 2-2 weapons or full-bore rifles as seen in the famous Queen's Prize meeting at Bisley every year. This country has some of the world's finest shots, not least the late Malcolm Cooper, a double Olympic gold medalist and 8 times world champion. Then there's the inimitable George Digweed, 16 times world sporting champion, Richard Folds, double trap champion at the Sydney Olympics, and the incredible Mick Galt, 15 Commonwealth gold medals. Muzzle-loaders use black powder, shotguns, rifles and pistols. The guns may be original or replicas. They might be matchlocks, wheel locks, flint and steel, or percussion cap. Muzzle-loading is living history. It's great fun, but muzzle-loading competitions taken very seriously indeed. Shooting with air guns is a vast sport. There's air rifle and pistol shooting as seen at the Olympics, field target shooting, and airgun hunting and pest control. Many just enjoy informal practice in their garden or field. It's an activity enjoyed by more than 1 million.
What I find so encouraging about shooting is that women like me can compete on equal terms with men. Children can do it, old people can do it, fat people, thin people, disabled people compete on equal terms with able-bodied people. You don't have to be special in order to shoot.
Well, Great Britain is actually the best at it in the world. Great Britain's shooting team has won more gold medals than any athletic team in this country. Not many people realise that. We've done very well at clay shooting, and we're the best there is.
Well, shooting is important to me because I enjoy the country life, I enjoy the day out with friends, I enjoy working the dogs, and in general I just love the countryside, and I think shooting is part of it.
Yes.
What do you think, Mick?
I've been shooting since I was about 9 or 10. My father taught me to shoot. It's just fantastic coming out at the weekend after a stressful week in the office, 9 till 5, and just having a wander around and seeing the countryside and being with good friends. It's a great day.
Well, there you are. Shooting really is a sport for all. If you haven't tried it, I hope you may be tempted to have a go. If you're a shooter already, you may have discovered bits of your sport that you weren't even aware of. And one more thing. Please try and show this film to anyone you know that doesn't shoot, that doesn't participate in our great tradition. Thanks very much.